Hezbollah has so far shown no intent of disarming. Meanwhile, the Lebanese army has blamed Israel, stating that it is not able to live up to its ceasefire conditions because of these strikes. What do you think will now proceed from here? Because the United States too has made it very clear to Lebanon that it is time that they get their act in order and pressurize Hezbollah to disarm.
The situation in Lebanon has not improved in 40 years, 50 years even. Lebanon has been a basket case for 50 years. There's no prospect of it really improving on its own as it happens. The Israelis have made it very clear over the past year, more than a year now since a ceasefire took place in Lebanon, between Israel and Lebanon, that if the Lebanese themselves were not going to disarm Hezbollah, the Israelis would continue to attrit them. Hezbollah have been trying to rearm. Their ability to rearm is very limited, but they have nevertheless been trying. And Israelis are intent on attriting them faster than they can rearm to ensure that they no longer pose a threat to the Israeli civilian population. And that's what's happening. It's what I assume will continue to happen for the indefinite future, because Lebanon, unfortunately, is a state that does not function and has never really functioned. It is full of militias that compete with each other. Hezbollah is a Shia militia. They control about a third of the population. They have the largest army, even after the Israeli attrition that occurred over the past 2 years. And in the long run, only Israel will be able to defeat them. The Maronites, other Christian groups, and the Sunnis are much weaker than Hezbollah, even still, and don't seem to have the will or the wherewithal, or both, to be able to reduce them in power sufficiently to make Lebanon a functioning unitary authority. One can only hope for Lebanon in the future that they manage to reorganize their state, perhaps as a federation where the various denominations have control over some parts of the territory with their own militias, but at least that it should function, because currently it does not function.
Indeed, and apart from Lebanon, we've also seen a very crucial visit by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. He's visited troops beyond the ceasefire line in Golan Heights, which are stationed currently at the UN buffer zone. What sort of signal is this sending to not just President al-Shara in Damascus, but also to Washington?
It's a clear signal from Netanyahu and his government that Israel will no longer play footsie with terrorists. There won't be any terrorist armies on Israel's border, and they will keep their forces in depth within foreign territories if that is what is required to ensure that civilians are no longer under threat. Israel would very much like to have peace with its neighbors, including Syria and Saudi Arabia, for example. But nevertheless, it has succeeded and become by far the wealthiest major state within 1,000 miles without peace with Syria or Saudi Arabia. And it will certainly not risk its civilians for small economic benefit when economics are really not the issue at hand. They intend to maintain the buffer zones as required. My guess is that the summit of the Hermon mountain, which was previously within a UN buffer zone and is now under full Israeli control, will not be withdrawn from very easily by the Israelis. They're rather fortifying it and setting up some spy equipment up there that vastly expands Israel's strategic horizons. And I think it's very unlikely that they will withdraw from that.
Absolutely. It does provide strategic advantage to Israel. But since you've mentioned Saudi Arabia, I'd like to digress a little bit over here. We've seen what's taken place at the Oval in the White House today. Trump meeting Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. There's been a $142 billion deal that has been inked between the United States and the Saudis with regards to the sale of F-35 fighter jets. So far in the Middle East, Israel is the only country that operates the F-35s. We've seen their capability in the 12-day war with Iran as well. To what degree is Israel really concerned with regards to this sale and its implications in sort of changing the delicate balance of power in the Middle East?
קניתי קרקע בשנת 21 בסכום של 240,000 שקל. אחרי שנה המחיר של הקרקע קפץ פי 2.
Sale and its implications in sort of changing the delicate balance of power in the Middle East.
There's a lot more happening under the radar that is not open, that people are not aware about. So it's very unclear what the reality is. And my guess is that from from speaking to people, the Israelis are not concerned at all about the Saudis getting F-35s because the Saudis, while they will be able to fly them, it won't give them sufficient edge over the Israelis to make them ever be able to threaten Israel themselves. Israel has plenty of countermeasures. Israel is entirely capable of shooting down rockets and mortar shells out of the sky. They are not threatened by standard fighter jets, even if they are stealth and low cross action, etc. So they're not particularly worried about that. I think the Israelis are quite comfortable with it. They might even be in favor of it, because as much as the Saudis, even if they won't sign peace with Israel, and even if that never comes to pass, which is possible, although rumors have it that the major bloc is MBS's father, the king, who is currently very frail, but he is currently blocking the peace between Israel and Saudi, and that everyone involved wants it to happen, and it will happen soon. But even if it never happens, it could be that Israel is very keen for the Saudis to have these weapons, even though they will not arrive for at least 5 years, because that will provide a strategic problem for Iran, which is everyone's real enemy in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
Israel is not interested in having any kind of fight with the Saudis, and the Saudis definitely don't want any fight with the Israelis. And the F-35s won't help them in that balance of power.
Absolutely. With that, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Saul Sadka, for taking out time, of course, providing your perspective on these